Hello and welcome to the Publicly Challenged Podcast. I'm your host, Luke Oswald, and I hope you join me on my quest for knowledge to become a better public land hunter, angler, and forager. Stick with this and who knows, maybe we will learn something together. All right, real quick before we get started on the show, I'm just going to talk about Treeline Academy. You've heard me say it. I can't even tell you how many times. Mark Livesey is treelineacademy.net. That's treelineacademy.net. Sign up. Use the promo code PC2020. Save yourself $20. Can't say it enough. It's awesome, amazing, most comprehensive e-scouting course out there. Check it out for yourself. Sign up. Use promo code PC2020. And now let's get to the show. All right, so I'm sitting here and I'm talking to Curt Geier. And Curt, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, man. First of all, thanks for having me. But yeah, Curt Geier from Working Class Bowhunter Podcast. That's what we do.
Yeah. It may not be your full time, but it's your passion. That's how I describe it for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's I consider. I mean, honestly, at this point, I probably work more on it than I do my full time job, because it's like if I'm not at my full time job, I kind of live the podcast and kind of what it's morphing into as a brand. So
no, that's awesome.
I consider it a full time job, soon to be the full time job. So
that's great. That's awesome, man. Congratulations on that for sure.
Thanks.
That's definitely an achievement. So kind of curious, and I know a lot of people have heard you talk and stuff like that before, but how old were you actually when you started bow hunting?
Oh, when I started bow hunting, I had to have been 13, I believe, in there somewhere. I started hunting when I was around 10 years old, and then asked for a bow for Christmas. Didn't think I was going to get one. I got one of those like pre-packaged deals from, I think it was probably Gander Mountain at the time. That was like the only store we had. And then my dad got a bow the same year, and he actually got into it because I wanted to get into it. And he always hunted. He grew up hunting, but not bow hunting, like small game hunting. So yeah, that's where it took off. And then killed my first deer ever with a bow. And then I killed my first buck with a bow when I was 15. So Nice. It kind of just like hooked me in, and I never lost interest.
Dude, it took me forever to kill my first buck, like 5 years, I think.
That's good though.
It was
kind of.
I mean, it made me appreciate it a lot more than if it would have just came easy. Totally didn't realize that the property that I had was like a freaking gold mine, right? But didn't know how to hunt, and all the shows I watched back then, and I'm sure you probably did too. You got into them and you watched, Bushmans and all those kind of people, and just like, they never really told you how to hunt. It was more like, here we are, we're in a tree stand. Oh, look at that. He's coming in right now.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, boom, laying them down or shooting them with a bow or whatever. But
yep, it's just like the monster bucks. That's why I grew up on those. But that's also what's good about them. Like, a ton about deer, like body posture and like how a deer moves, but you have no idea how to get close to a deer in order to see him move like that.
That's right.
So, but I don't know. Those are the good old days of hunt videos.
They were the good old days of hunt videos. And then I don't know, it seems like even the general public kind of got tired of them too. And you could see a definite shift, and everybody, it's more social media and YouTube and all those kind of things. And,
Real Tree Road Trips changed everything, I think, personally.
I used to watch
those.
That's the
show that I kind of more.
That was like that was probably the last hunting shows on TV that I actually watched, was probably Real Tree Road Trips.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been playing it in the studio in our green room. I've just been popping in like old Real Tree Road Trips DVDs and letting them ride. But I think that's what changed it, because everyone, once those DVDs came out, everyone's like, oh man, we want to see more. Yeah. Besides the hunt, we want to see kind of like the camp stuff. And then, naturally, that's kind of just what YouTube is in general. So it kind of just the whole thing shifted from there. I think that's what it is anyway.
So when did you get kind of concentrated more so? I mean, was it always like, hey, I want to manage land for whitetails, or was it kind of you just had some pieces of property you were hunting and kind of learned the lay of the land there, or what'd you do?
Yeah, I never really had, even still, I have minimal opportunity to manage land. It's on a very working class scale, like if at all. I mean, like some places like that I hunt, I can't touch at all. I just go out there and figure out how deer move. But yeah, I mean, like the piece of property I grew up hunting was literally just solid timber. Like I didn't even have like fields to hunt or fringes to hunt. So it was actually really difficult to kind of figure them out because the entry and exit was difficult because if they were in the timber on my piece going to the neighbors' fields, I was bumping them in the morning, and it just made for a lot of difficult hunting and what seemed like inconsistent hunting. It seemed like one year it'd just be on fire and the next you couldn't figure anything out. So it was just a hard property. So I think that also it was good for me. Like I killed my biggest bucks there, and I killed a lot of good deer, and my dad killed a lot of good deer there. But I feel like it taught me how to like keep at it and stay mobile, like how to keep moving around to figure deer out when you haven't seen shit in 10 days. So I think it was really good for me. Whereas if I would have hunted kind of like a dream property, if you will, right off the rip that had pinches, funnels, and fringes and all the goodies, and then I dove into a property like that because that's all I had or whatever, I think I'd be really lost and really frustrated.
So the property I was telling you about a little bit ago was totally all of that. Like it
Mm-hmm.
had the funnels, it had the pinches, it didn't have any water, but it had water not too far from there to where they actually took that. And then, I mean, it had bedding, it had everything except for like large ag, but the large ag actually bordered that. So, I mean, it was like everything you ever wanted, but I had no idea how to hunt it. Didn't understand any of that at the time.
Yeah.
And it was like I couldn't figure out resources. There wasn't so much the internet back then. And you had, like I said, the hunting shows, but it didn't help you all that much. There was videos that would help you that you could order and stuff like that. And I ordered a couple of those, but what did you go to? Was it magazines or would you kind of pick up
Um,
on it?
Really, I had a lot of hunting mentors growing up. So I hunted that piece. And then after hunting that piece for a few years, my dad and I got permission on another piece of property that was a couple hours away from this particular piece. So it wasn't a spot we got to hunt a lot, but we did like probably 2 solid weeks of hunting there a year with other guys that were very experienced and they were consistent big buck killers. Like I'm talking every year are killing a really respectable Pope and Young with their bow. Like some of the guys were just strictly bow hunting, and a lot of them guys had hunted their entire lives bow hunting and stuff like that. So I learned a lot from those guys really before I even dove into anything like content wise. It was more, asking those guys questions when they kill the deer. Like, well, why'd you go to that spot? Well, why? And then they talk about it, and I'd be like, well, why? And I was young. I was the only
Right?
kid in
Yeah.
camp. So, I'm the 17-year-old kid talking to these guys that are in their mid late 40s. And but I think they liked it though. Like they got a kick. I think they could sense I was passionate about it and like genuinely wanted to learn. But honestly, that's how I learned most of the basics, and then a lot of it trial and error with my old man and um, my buddies and stuff like that. I don't know. That's really the basic answer. Is kind of just asking a ton of questions to
Yeah.
guys I look up to because that was the best resource. I'm hunting with these guys. We got up at the same time. They left to go one way, and they came back with a buck, and I didn't. So I'm like, what the hell? What'd you do different? I want to know.
Do you think people are
So
spoiled these days with the amount of information they got out there?
no, I mean, I I think that it's harder to retain the information. Okay, let me go back. I think people think they know because they heard it on TV and all that, but they don't actually know until they put themselves there and experience it a little bit. Then they'll know. Does that make sense?
No, I get that. I think, the same thing. You can look at something or read it a million times, but until you actually physically do it and experience it or try it and put it into practice to really get the feel for it. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Same thing about like even I try and do foraging and stuff. Well, you could look at a book a million times and think you're going to recognize it, and you can go out there and recognize it. But if it's in a different developmental stage than the picture in the book, it's not going to do you any good unless you get out there and study it, and figure
Yeah.
out a spot that it's in all the time. And I mean that can
Man, I
apply.
respect you for that, dude, because I've tried to like get into that a little bit and it's so difficult. Like I would die if I had to like forage for food, I would die so fast.
No, you wouldn't.
Just,
So
I'd be like,
guaranteed, you know dandelions.
yeah,
Every kid knows those, right?
yeah,
Edible. Every part
just
of
eat
it.
'em.
Every part of it. A little bitter, but every part of it's edible. So then you
You could
got,
get by.
yeah, you could get by. Tastes like crap, but you get a lot of them.
Right.
um, remember them things when you were a kid on the playground you used to take and you used to fold it over and pull it and make like a little shooter and the head would pop off?
No.
Really? Okay. So it was like the tall, skinny little stem coming up with like a little, like almost like a cone-shaped head on it. And you'd fold
Okay.
over, pick the stem and fold it over and pull it real hard and it would shoot off the
Yeah.
top. I'm sure you played with one. You had to have.
I'm
All
sure I
kids
have.
did that. Well, that's
See, that's what I mean.
that's
That's how I
plantain.
die.
So that is narrow leaf plantain, and it's got another one that looks just like it, but it's broadleaf, and that's plantain too, and you can eat that. So right there, you
Okay.
got two of them, right?
I mean, if I get lost in Illinois, I'm just gonna eat field corn until somebody finds me.
That's unless it's spring and they didn't get planted yet, but
Yeah, then I'm screwed. Then
And
I'm
then-
eating dandelions.
and your favorite windicator, milkweed,
Yeah.
edible. All
Yeah,
of it's
is it
edible.
really?
Yeah, you just have to boil it. So like a 5-minute blanch. Well, not really a blanch, but a 5-minute boil. Take it and like rinse it off, cool it down, and you can saute it. You can deep fry it. You can bread it. You can do any of that. And even the pods.
kidding.
So the milkweed pods, you can take and do that too. So you can pick those when
did
they're
not
young
know-
and tender. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not eating them when they're ready to be used as a windicator. It's a
No,
little dry.
they call it the floss, I believe is what they call it. And at that point, it's definitely like eating a cotton ball at that point. But if you get it when
I
it's
didn't
young and
know that.
tender, it tastes cheesy.
No kidding.
Yeah, slight cheesiness to it. So now
I
when
didn't
you
know
go to
that.
pick your milkweed, just go like a week or two earlier, a couple weeks earlier. Pick a couple of them, boil them for 5 minutes in some water, and then try them out. See what you think.
That's interesting. I'll be honest, I don't pick milkweed.
What?
I'm a hater.
You're a hater on the milkweed, huh?
I'm not actually. I'm jokingly a hater. I just it comes in a bottle already and I just puff and I'm on my way. I don't have time to go pick milkweed and let it dry off in my window and pack it into a thing. I get the $2 things and I'm on my
So
way.
one,
Man. I got
I'm too cheap. I'm too cheap to buy the windicator. And two, the windicator that you actually put up. So the difference to me that I notice is from the tree stand, you can actually watch how it's dropping or where it's going and all that kind of stuff.
that is the benefit. That is the benefit.
And I mean, it can actually help you determine or understand thermals or terrain by doing that. That's why I
Yeah.
like it for sure.
I will tell you the only times that I've used a like milkweed is like I had a lease that had a bunch of it on the way through. I had like a path through the CRP that I would like cut around and I would like snag it as I was walking through. That's the only time. I've never like gone out before and like dried it out or whatever. I've never done that, but
That's because you're not publicly challenged like me. You don't.
I just man, I'm a guy that's willing to just pay for convenience at certain times. My wife hates it because I'm just like, just
Not
pay for
throw
it.
money
Let's
at
go.
it.
Yeah, I'd rather just pay to have things done to a certain point.
I'm the
And it's
kind of
not that
guy.
I'm rich because I'm not.
I'm the kind of guy that will spend more money on buying the stuff to learn how to make something and learn how to make it than just spending the money the first time and buying whatever it was I wanted to make.
Yeah,
Whether it be a knife sheath or whatever, dude, it doesn't matter.
yeah, that's cool. I respect that. But what's that meme that's going around now? It's like in 6 weeks and $3,000 later, we'll finally be able to enjoy a 25-cent vegetable from our garden.
Yeah, you definitely can go overboard there for sure. People,
Yeah, like my wife always wants to start a garden. I'm like, yeah, or we could just go buy tomatoes. Like I kill deer, I get the meat. Like let's just get our vegetables, whatever.
dude,
Like
they don't taste the
I
same
don't have
though.
time.
I know
They
know
don't.
they don't taste the same.
That's why my mother-in-law's for, man. I'm not planting a garden.
There you go. Yeah, just utilize them, buy them some extra plants, whatever. Take the tractor over there, till a nice patch up for her.
I'm very I don't get out a lot of areas. I'm a bow hunter, a podcaster, and a family guy. And then that everything else can kind of kick rocks unless I feel like showing interest to it. I'm very focused into what I like and everything. I'm kind of being sarcastic when I say that.
No,
but,
I get it. Just real
You know,
self-centered, selfish. No.
I'm just super selfish, and everybody else can kick rocks. But no, I'm busy,
I
so I'm
get it.
like, if I'm going to spend all my time for back straps, then I'm doing that. And then somebody else can get the tomatoes, or I'll just buy them on the fly.
So how many back
And
straps do you actually put in the freezer a year?
I kill I killed 4 whitetails last year, an antelope and a bear last year.
So with that
So
baby, the new baby on the way, I don't know if that's going to be enough meat in another year or two. You're going to have to really buckle
shoot with
down
a
and probably take an
go
elk
to.
or two. Probably two.
Next fall, I have an elk hunt planned.
Nice.
So we're doing that, and then I'm going to Wyoming this fall. So I'm going to Wyoming, and then I'm hoping I can get on a couple good whitetail bucks and maybe a doe or 3, depending on where I'm at in Illinois. And so yeah, I'll have to buckle down and get one more because my little girl tears up the wild game. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. So we're
She loves.
what are you doing on the? Is it an elk hunt in this fall then?
No, it's a mule deer hunt.
Okay, mule deer, like high
Yep,
country or what?
yep, high country. So
You
we're
prepared
going
for
for
that?
it. Yeah, I'm getting prepared. Yeah. It's me, my buddy Devin Leonard, and my buddy Clint Casper all going together. So
Nice.
they're I have a tag. They don't have tags, but they're using it as a reason to scout because they're putting in to draw that tag. So they're basically, it's a scouting trip for them. It's a hunting trip for me, and we're all going to kind of just learn together. I'm going to learn from them because
You get
Devin
some
Leonard's.
killers, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Devin's like the mule deer guy, and Clint's, for a guy from Ohio, he's quickly becoming a mule deer guy.
Yeah,
So, he's killed some real good bucks. So I'm going to go in like just a sponge and just absorb as much knowledge and just everything I can from those guys when we're out there, and we'll see what happens.
that's for sure the best way to do it, man. It's just osmosis. Take as much up
Yeah,
as you can for sure. So
exactly.
so when you said you were planning an elk hunt for next year, then?
Yeah, same area in Wyoming. My buddy Trey Heiner, the same guy we do our bear hunts with, the working class bear camps.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the plan was this. I was gonna go next fall with my old man. My dad was getting to a certain age that I'm like, man, we gotta get him out because he's getting old. There's not many 60-year-old plus getting in there and chasing elk around in the high country. So I was gonna buy him an elk hunt through my buddy Trey, and my dad recently just passed away, and so I called Trey up. I'm like, man, I was gonna buy my dad a hunt with you out there, and I was like, throw me on the books. So we're gonna do like a memorial hunt for my dad and go out there and try and kill a slob. So we'll see. We'll see
nice,
what we can figure out on that.
nice. No, that's
So yeah,
cool. That's definitely cool. So fitness wise, do you feel you're ready? You got all the CrossFitting in, or what? What are you doing?
not a CrossFit guy. I'm a bike guy.
Just hop on the bike and go.
Yep, I'm in the process. So I have a Rogue Ridge, which is an e-bike, but you can pedal it like a mountain bike.
Right.
So I've been cranking around on that a lot, and then I grew up as a BMX kid. I just built a new bike. Machine Bike Company sent me a frame, and they put like our working class logo on the head tube and stuff. So I
Nice.
just had that fully built, and then I have a whole area in my backyard that me and my buddy Ross Bigger, he grew up as a motocross guy, but he's got a mini X and a skid steer and all that. So we're going to go in and build a workout track. They call it a pump track. I don't know if you've ever seen those online,
I don't
but
know.
it's basically, you can make them however you want. The typical like pump track is you can roll over everything and it's all rhythm. So you're actually using your body. It's minimal pedaling, but you're actually using your body and the momentum and the flow and pumping over the rollers and jumps to get speed. And then basically you can just do laps on it. It's like the ultimate workout. So
Hmm.
I have like 15 tons of dirt, and we're going to do a little digging with the mini and get it out. And I'm hoping that gets done in the next month. And I'm bow training started this week. And so we'll be ready.
Nice. That's cool.
I
That's
like to
cool.
hunt more than I'm in shape. Always.
Me too. I find it hard. Hard. I mean, it's not hard to get the motivation to do it, but it's hard to get motivated to do it, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Oh yeah, working out sucks. And I'm not a guy that goes to the gym. Like if I can't make a workout fun, I just don't do it. Like, and I'm not even like, I'm not gonna bullshit anybody. It's like if it's not on a BMX bike or a bike, or if it's not a workout or I feel like I'm being distracted by how fun it is, then I don't do it. Like I'm not the dude who's like posting Instagram reels and stories of me running down my gravel road, because like if I'm running, I'm not posting it on Instagram.
I
You know what
don't
I mean?
either.
I don't need my buddy is like a gym rat, and he laughs at the guys that take pictures of themselves at the gym. He's like, what are you going for the gym for? Like, just if it's for you, you just go and you do your thing. And then in real life, someone would be like, hey, you've been working out. He's like, but he goes, you're doing it for you. Why you got to put it on social media? He that annoys him. And I kind of get what he's saying. Like,
Totally. Unless that's
you
your
know,
business, like Dan the fitness man, Elk Shape or something, to where
that's different.
that is your lifestyle and motivate other people and get them in shape for elk season.
That's way different. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. That's way different. Yeah. If working class bow hunters niche was like, we're gym guys after work, then yeah, maybe that's what we would do. Like Cam Hanes, like that makes a little more sense. It's kind of like part of why people follow him.
Right.
But as a normal dude, I'm not going to be like, look how fat I was and now I'm not. But
there you go, though. That might be a thing. Then you could start your own fitness program, right?
Nah, I'm trying to sell like pyramid scheme fitness programs to other hunters and stuff. Yeah. I'd rather just have people notice it in person. I feel like that feels cooler than having people like my photo.
You don't need to be a guy throwing. I saw one the other day, and I actually messaged.
I'm kind of being half sarcastic for the record. I'm kind of kidding around, but I mean, whatever it takes for someone to get motivated. Like if you need that to motivate you, then yeah, cool, do it. But
no, Kafaru just posted one, and one of their photographers had a pack on with like 100-pound sandbag in it or something, and he had the phone, and it was like pointed out away from him, and I'm like, what's he doing? And I messaged him and I said, hey, is he recording you recording him? And they go, no, he's just recording himself in a mirror. And I was like, I
no
get
shit.
it. Yeah.
That's funny. My buddy Judd, outside the studio right here, I have it's just like a frame, and it's got the set to put like the weights on it.
Yeah.
So I can walk around. So he dropped that off to me yesterday. He's like, hey, I figured you might want this, but I don't have the weights. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to go buy them.
Not going to go buy some plates. Maybe you could borrow some from somebody.
Yeah, I'll have to rob some plates from someone. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'll figure something out. So I'll
join a gym. Join a 24-hour gym for a week and just run in and run out one day.
Rob them blind. Yeah, that's a good idea. I might just ratchet strap a cinder block or 5 onto the back.
There you go. Now you're thinking.
Super redneck.
Sandbags. Yeah. That's what I throw in when I do it. Or actually, for a while it was concrete because that's what I had laying around from an extra project. But
the problem with this is there's no bag. It's just the frame.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I can't throw anything into a bag. So I'll figure something out if I actually. It'll probably sit there until I get back from my hunt, and I won't ever touch it.
There you go. Whatever works, man.
Yeah, the bike will be my go-to. I mean, it's cardio and it's really a full body workout all in one. And like for me mentally, I'm having so much fun that I don't feel like I'm working out until I get done. I'm like, oh man, I'm dying.
You can't walk the next 2 days. Yeah,
exactly.
I get it.
When I got the bike, I was messing around on flat ground, just cranking around and doing different like just pump workouts and doing my thing. And yeah, you feel it. Like you feel it in your forearms, you feel it in your thighs, and I mean, it's a stair stepper you can have a little more fun on.
That's pretty cool. So, you were telling me about your recent bear hunt a little bit. Can you kind of talk on that and just kind of let's give away some details?
Yeah, definitely. We've been going. So the last 2 years we've gone to Double Diamond Outfitters out in Wyoming, and so basically he sets up like a canvas wall tent camp, and then it's horseback. So you horseback into your baits and stuff, but it's all on public. Like, you go to a trailhead and you're seeing other people there and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's out in Wyoming backcountry and it's a little ways out there, but it's just a riot. I've never done any like type of Canadian bear hunt or anything like that. I've never hunted bears until this trip. So it was a pretty cool experience. And my first time ever, I like to hunt Wyoming and all that in that steep country. And it's different out there. It's pretty wild. But yeah, I didn't kill one this spring, but last spring I killed my first bear. I got lucky. I killed one on the first sit. So
Nice.
yeah, it was great. It was really fun. I mean, it was cool. Like I'm glad it happened and I got to see what it was like, but the camp is so fun that really you're not even worried about it. And I know that sounds cliche. It's not about the kill, but honestly, we left this year and I wasn't even like, I'm cool. I'm good. But I
Yeah.
genuinely wasn't even bummed about it. It's just so much fun from the time you get there, the process, like just sleeping in the tents and hanging out with your buddies and getting up and getting baits ready, getting horses ready, and then riding the horses out to the baits and hunting until dark. And it's just so much fun. All around, everything about it's great.
So how long would you guys sit on the bait? Like, was it an all day thing, or was it like mid morning till whenever, or what was that like?
Typically we did not hunt mornings typically. Now, if there's something that tipped us off to go hunt a morning, like, the first year we went, Austin and Ross did hunt some mornings. They went in, at daylight and hunted for a bit and then would come down or maybe sit all day. Um, every time I've done it, we've gone out about 3 in the afternoon, maybe a little earlier, depending. Sometimes we're going out at like 1 in the afternoon. And then at that time of the year, it doesn't get dark till like, oh, I guess 9:30 is like when you can't see. So it's time to pack up and head out. And so, I mean, it's still a pretty long sit because it gets dark so late there. So by the time you walk out of there or get to your horses and then get out of there with the horses, then get back to the whatever you're in. Sometimes you ride back to the camp. Sometimes you get to a horse trailer and ride back in the truck back to the actual camp on the back road. I mean, it's midnight sometimes by
Nice.
the time you get back to camp. So you come back, you drink a beer, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm going to bed. I'm wore out." And then you get up, and I don't know if you have time, shoot your bow, get baits ready, get the horses ready, and you're back at it again. Or go out and you help refill a bait or whatever you got to do. It's
Yeah.
it's Western, man. It's
No,
some
that's
cowboy
cool.
stuff.
So your antelope that you got, were you what were you doing for that? Were you with the Double Diamond outfitters again,
Nope.
or
Nope. I just went with some good buddies they have a project called Buckstorm. They're based out of South Dakota. And we did two of those antelope camps 2 years in a row. And yeah, it's just all public, just out in South Dakota. And it is so much fun. It is like the best time. I highly recommend if anyone's listening, if they've never gone antelope hunting, go anywhere you can go in any state. It doesn't matter. Just go and chase them around with a bow. It's so much fun.
so did you get like a buck and a doe tag, or what'd you get?
Mine was, I think it's an either sex. You only get to shoot one. Yeah, it's an either sex, I believe. But yeah, my first year I killed not a big one, but for me, I was stoked about it. I got it mounted and everything. And then I killed it's kind of a crazy story. I killed a younger one last year. I was on accident. That sounds corny. I don't really need to get in detail, but I'll tell the story real quick. I had legitimately, I don't tell the story because people I think I'm full of shit. But it's on
Let's hear it.
video.
Let's hear it. I want to
So
hear it.
I shot at an antelope and it darted my arrow, and another one intercepted my arrow.
I believe it. I
I
if you watch antelope and just how weird they move, like 1 minute they'll dart away from you 100 yards, and next thing you know you'll turn around. And I mean, you see it all the time. Like they'll turn around and then they'll be like 10 yards from you, and you're like, "Where the heck did you come from?" So
Yeah,
I get it.
it was one of those things when it happened. I was like, of course, it was actually what's weird about it in the footage. The one I hit it's not like I hit it in the ass and it like had to suffer. It was like an unethical shot. It was weird. What was so shocking about it is it looked like someone shot with a rifle. Like it front flipped and rolled, like dropped it. And it looks like it's at a full a speed run pretty much because it had momentum. Because when I shot, they jumped the string because these goats were fairly close to like a highway,
Mhm.
so they were just getting hit with guys running out there trying to put a stock on them over and over and over. So I think they were extra jumpy. So I shoot the one to the left is like 20 yards to the left of the one I'm shooting at. They dart and it just boom rolls it like tea kettle ass over end, just rolling. And I'm sitting there and everybody's like, what just happened? And I just I put my hands over my face and just sat there on the hill. And I'm like, this is the strangest. Like, I don't know how I feel. It was one of them things. I was like, yeah, I got one, but I didn't mean to. I felt terrible because I didn't mean to do it, you know? And I was telling the guys, I'm like, I'm glad you have that on film, because if I told this story anywhere, everybody would think I was just so full of it and making stuff up. And yeah, so everybody waited about an hour, then everyone started making fun of me. So it was cool.
So is it that on your YouTube channel?
It's on Buckstorms.
On Buckstorm? No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out for sure.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's been almost a year, so it's down their feet a bit. But yeah, it's on there.
Were you wearing your awesome antelope hat that, you know, looks like an antelope head that's like a giant foam cheese cutout from
I think those are hilarious. No, I wasn't wearing one of those, but my buddy had the like head on, I don't know if it's like the Montana decoy or whatever. My buddy had that on his bow, and he was I can't remember the layout of it. Where he was at, he was also filming. So he's like, he has that and he's kind of filming around it. So, and I'm off way to the side of him, but there was like a hill with a cutout. So when the goats came around that cutout, they were like, boom, looking right at him. So I kind of had to make my move. It was kind of a now or never. And then they just were jumpy as hell and jumped me up. So,
dude, I wonder, it's heads up, right? Heads up decoy is the thing that goes on the bow.
oh, I don't know. I thought it was Montana, but I might be wrong.
No,
I don't
Montana makes like just the spring ones that like you put almost like tent poles in, and you post them in the
Oh,
ground.
you know what? They have both. We were using the Montana one on this hunt.
And I have those, and I freaking love them. I've used them
Cool.
like on public, just going. And so here's a little story for you. I was last year I was hunting. My hunt kind of got blown. So I was a guy who ended up walking right through, and he scared out of the timber like, I don't know, 6 deer. No BS, 6 deer just stalking through there as noisy as could be. So then I was like, you know what? It's like 11 o'clock anyway. I'm gonna get down. So I get down. I had to take a dump. So I go over to a little spot further away, go to the bathroom. And then I'm walking back, and I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to go to my canoe and leave. So I got the decoy, and I got it up kind of high, right? And it's tall grass. It's like grass up to probably my I don't know, waist, maybe a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the decoy, and it's kind of over my shoulder. I got my pack on with all my stuff, and I'm carrying my bow. And all of a sudden, I see something flash like fur. And I turn over, and I look, and I'm like, oh, crap. And it was a nice buck. I bet you it was, no joke, like 140, 150-inch buck.
No kidding.
And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, where did he come from? And I looked, and there was a blown down tree, and he was laying bedded up against the root base. But he didn't see me, and the wind was at my face. He saw the doe decoy moving, and he just heard all the noise. I mean, I wasn't trying to be quiet. So he heard all this noise going through the grass, and he looks over and sees it. Well, he gets like probably like 40, 45 yards from me. And he's like standing facing me now, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, I wonder how I can make a play on this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay. So I kneel down and I set the doe down. And when I do, she kind of like gets covered up. And I didn't think about it at the time, but it was like just her head sticking up. So he's kind of still looking at her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fumbling trying to get like my release on and get an arrow out and do all this stuff. And I'm like, and then finally he just kind of like knows something's off, and he just darts off. And I'm like,
yeah,
man, that was awesome though, you know? And so I started thinking though, if I had one of those other decoys that goes on your bow, you could just be standing up, not kneel down and try and grab stuff, you know, and just, and go for it. But I've had a couple encounters with those Montana decoys and I guess they're just so realistic. Like, you know what I mean? They look pretty real, you know, unless you get to the side where they're non-existent anymore. But I've had deer where they walk and then they don't see it anymore, and they come running back around and look at it. It's pretty neat. And like another incident was I canoed the first time into a new spot, and I was like, man, I got to get there. I didn't actually canoe. I kayaked and had another canoe behind me. And that's a whole nother story about current and all that kind of stuff. But so I get 2 does run past me right on the ridge, the bank of the little tributary I was in. And I'm like, okay, So I get the decoy, get my bow, kind of get up there, and same thing. There's a spike buck, no joke, like 5 feet away from me. So I
No
back
kidding.
up a little bit and try and, and I wasn't going to shoot him, but I was just putting an arrow in just in case I had to do something because he's
Oh
over
yeah,
there
yeah.
stomping his foot and putting his head down.
Well, you just never know who else is going to be popping up either, too.
Yeah, that's true. And so,
especially like with that setup, you could have, like you said, the 150 be popped up right there. You didn't see them, and I mean, miss an opportunity if you weren't ready.
that was like 2 years before that happened. But yeah, it was awesome. I mean, so I've had some great experiences with those Montana decoys, but I think I'm gonna have to get me one of those heads up or whatever the heck they're called, where they go on the front
Yeah,
of your bow, because
yeah.
I think that might really work. I don't know.
The first antelope I ever shot, that's my buddy Jeremy from Buckstorm. He had one on his bow, and I was kind of like behind him, and we were sneaking in, like we're inching, like we're trying to get by with as much as we can. Travis is filming like way behind us, and he's holding like he's a taller guy, so he's kind of ducked down below the hill, and he holds his hand up with the camera on his hand. He was kind of using that with the viewfinder to see what was going on, and that's how they film a lot of their stuff out there, where there's not a lot of terrain, so you make the best of what terrain you do have. And so Jeremy's got that decoy in the front of his bow, and I'm kind of ranging around him. And then once I saw the goat that I ended up shooting stand up, I kind of like drew facing away from Jeremy and then stepped out and stood up and shot him. That one's on film too on their videos. So
Nice.
that's a fun. Antelope is like, it's so much fun. I would go every year if I had the time.
Yeah. No, that's something I was thinking about, and it's like my dad. I don't think he is fit enough. His knees are bad and all that kind of stuff to where he could go in any terrain for elk unless it was like Kansas or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I just don't think it's possible. But I think I might be able to pull off like a rifle
Oh
antelope
yeah.
hunt or something with them. I need to try and get that figured out and on the books or something to make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be a riot. It would
Yeah.
be fun to go out. Like, I don't ever rifle hunt, but I think that would be fun to do, like a rifle antelope with like a group of guys. Would be a ton of fun, you know. But
Do you?
I just love those animals. Are just so cool to me.
So you never pick up a rifle, or
I've
it's only?
killed one deer with a rifle, and that was in Oregon a couple years ago.
I guess because it
Um,
would be a working class rifle hunter, right?
right, right. Well, we can't use them in Illinois. I've killed plenty of deer with with a muzzle loader. I've never killed deer with a shotgun or anything like that, but I have nothing against it. It's not as interesting to
What
me.
whatever happened here in Illinois? They were trying to do to where you could use like a rifle with the straight walled cartridge of whatever caliber and stuff, and then it never like really went anywhere. Do you know anything about that?
I don't, man. I heard rumblings about it, and I was just hoping it wasn't going to happen. Um, and I honestly never heard anything about it. We don't need any more guns in Illinois when it comes to like killing deer. It's already, you know what I mean? The shotgun's plenty.
Oh,
You know,
don't say that, man. You're hurting
a
my
shotgun
feelings.
is more than enough in Illinois.
No, it totally is, but I think it'd be cool. I totally think it'd be cool to do like a lever action 44 mag or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd
Although
be cool, but we're good.
I think your buddy Johnny Utah was talking about that to where
Mhm.
like they passed that in Iowa, right? Where people can do that now
I
with a
don't
rifle
know.
or something. He was
I
saying
know
that, like,
Indiana did.
yeah, and he was saying it totally got to where people are modding them out and trying to push 1,000 yards with a straight
Yeah.
wall cartridge.
Well, that's just the thing, it's shot. Just we got shotguns that can shoot a long way. That's all we need in Illinois. We don't need anything else.
Well,
Like
that's like
if you can't kill one with a shotgun, maybe go somewhere else. I don't know.
well, that's
Like
like
it's
Andrew Toigo, right?
mhm.
He's got one of those shotguns that's like a 400 500 yard shotgun or something. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
what
like
the
a
heck it is.
Savage 20 gauge bolt action, isn't it?
Something. I
The
don't
Savage or
know. His
Browning.
is like a freaking gun. It's not a gun works, but it's something like that. It is way more high
Um,
tech than your regular bolt action.
my buddy Austin Chandler has something like that. I believe it's a 20 gauge. I want to say it's a Savage or a Browning or something like that, but it's a bolt action slug gun, and it's just impressive. But
Nice.
that's a rifle at that point.
And that's the guys with the muzzle loaders too. Like I don't think Illinois says anything about whether or not it has to be smokeless powder or any of that kind of stuff.
Not that
So
I'm aware of.
so you could use a center fire, primer and like a large rifle primer and put, whatever kind of Magnum powder in there. And I mean, there's I can't think of the dude's name. He's somewhere out in like Idaho or something, and he makes these muzzle loaders that are like 1,400-yard muzzle loaders.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gee.
I mean, and they're accurate to 1,400
Really?
yards. He like guarantees at 100 yards it's less than like half inch, or a quarter inch MOA or something crazy.
That's nuts. I honestly, I like guns. I think they're cool, but when it comes to hunting, like my knowledge of them is very minimal. Like it's very, very minimal. It's just not. It's cool. It is fun, but it's just not my main interest.
Yeah.
Like I'm never, but like going out on my own rifle hunt for elk. Unless it would have to be a very specific circumstance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that was my first elk hunt, unsuccessful. And then so this year I'm going to go out archery and see if I can make it happen. Hopefully less pressure. Yeah. We'll see. But hopefully hopefully I can do that. But no, I think like just I don't know. It's cool. It's definitely cool to do that. But like I've had the same feelings. I just drew a shotgun tag this year that it was my 4th year putting in for, and I finally drew it for a piece of public. And I was telling my wife, I was like, as excited as I am to have the tag, I'm not that excited to take the shotgun out and actually go hunt it. And I told her, I was like, I might actually bring my bow. And and she's like, that's pretty dumb. And I go, kind of it is, because chances are I'll see something at like 80 yards or something and not be able to drop it. And it'll be like, the biggest deer I've ever seen out there. And then, on the same hand, it's like, well, I'll shoot it at 30 yards with a shotgun and be like, well, I totally could have dropped that one with my bow. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
That's a double-edged sword.
I killed a buck I called Creepy during second firearm season now, because if you have a firearm tag, you can hunt with the bow as long as you have a valid tag. And that just changed,
Yep.
Probably in the last 5 years or something like that. But
might be.
Anyway, I killed
less, but yeah.
It's been 4 years at least. I killed that buck at 12 yards during the second shotgun season with my bow.
Nice.
So, but it felt, to me, I'm like, that's even cooler, because I was in Blaze Orange. Everybody else is out gun hunting, like trying to just see one to kill one. And I just, maybe luck, but I don't know. I just like the feel of that. It's cool.
No, that's awesome.
Nothing against it. If you want to gun hunt, that's cool. I don't have anything against that at all, but it's just not as interesting.
But it'd be called working class gun hunter instead of bow hunter. That's
working class slug hunter.
Slug hunter. There you go.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with One Slug Doug. But
yeah, I was gonna say that. It's like, that isn't his name, which I don't understand, because I don't know if I've ever heard of. You know what I mean? Like the last time I saw Doug shoot a slug gun was like, I don't know if I've ever seen him shoot one. So whatever. I don't know. It has a ring to it.
Yeah. So no. I get it, man. I don't get it, but I get it.
Instagram handle that Duck Guy Doug is what he needs to do.
What
we've been
calling to what?
Lately. Duck Guide Doug.
Is he a duck guide now? Is that?
No, he's never even killed a duck, I don't think. But that's what's funny. It's a if you listen to our podcast, there's a joke about. So we did a podcast with Make Hunting Great Again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and he talks about how there's a lot of Instagram chicks that are in it for the wrong intentions, but they get free duck hunts because of things they do to get free duck hunts.
Oh yeah.
Well, Doug's the only single guy in our crew, so we joke around and call him Duck Guy Doug. So it's kind of like, it was a joke that in the podcast and with our listeners has kind of rolled into this thing that's getting way out of hand, but it's so funny that we just keep it going.
That's funny. Because I'm pretty sure I listened to both of the Make Hunting Great Again episodes. I like that dude. He's pretty funny, but I don't remember ever hearing.
Well, it's something that kind of rolled in.
Oh.
It's you have to listen to the show, because there's a lot of inside jokes in there, and there's a lot of like a third eye Illuminati hidden inside jokes in there. that if you listen to them in detail and you catch them, you're like, oh, I see where this is stemming from. So it all kind of led into.
Nice.
So that I think that's why not everybody understands it, but like a lot of our hardcore guys that are kind of get the vibe and or understand what we're talking about. They understand what's going on. Yeah.
Nice. Not funny. Just your drop in every once in a while listeners.
Yeah. If you're the guy that's hitting every episode, you're kind of in on the Duck Guy Doug joke. So
nice.
It's pretty fun.
Well, Curt, I mean, it's been good. We could probably ramble all night here, but we should probably wrap it up. I think it's a good point with Duck Guy Doug. So
yeah, it's a good spot to close her out forever on that one.
So ladies, if you're listening, you want a duck hunt, Doug will take you out.
Leave your self-esteem at home.
All right.
Doug got free hunts for you.
Doug's got free hunts. All right, man, Curt. But before you go, you want to tell everybody where they can kind of find, obviously, Working Class Bowhunter and you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, if for some reason you want to look me up after this podcast, just anywhere Working Class Bowhunter, anywhere that you can find podcasts, we're there. And yeah, you don't need to follow my personal accounts. Just find me on Working Class. We're there. I'm there.
Don't follow him on his personal.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's there. It's Curt Geier Hunt if you really want to follow me. But
he doesn't want to be Insta famous. So
no, I'm not trying to get free duck hunts.
I understand. No free duck hunts. All right, man. It's been good. Thanks.
Thanks, brother.
And once again, thank you so much for listening to the Publicly Challenged podcast. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, please subscribe on whatever platform it is you're listening to. Also, if you could leave a review, that would help us out. And you can check us out on Instagram or at publiclychallenged.com. And once again, thank you so much for listening to the show.